Serengeti, a vast golden crucible, operating at the very limits of biological endurance. As surface temperatures soar past 50 degrees Celsius, the moisture vanishes. The savanna enters a state of physiological dormancy. In this blinding theater of light, survival is no longer just a race against the hunter. It is a silent, masterful game of thermal economics. The dry season haunts the Serengeti. An endless plain of withered grass stretches to the horizon. The morning sun rises, revealing a cracked and thirsty earth. The herds must feed before the heat of the day sets in. The grass is dry and brittle. It offers almost no water, but hunger drives them. The morning calm is an illusion. They eat, but their senses are working in overdrive. Ears pivot independently, listening to the dry grass. Wide eyes scan the horizon. Out here, a single moment of distraction is fatal. On this scorched plain, there are no shadows to hide behind. A solitary hunter must melt into the barren earth itself. A leopard she hasn't eaten in days. Out here, the dry season strips away all margins for error. Her ribs press against her coat, but a starving predator is a focused one. Hunger sharpens every instinct. She navigates the shifting brush. Her spotted coat dissolves into the dry thicket. Perfect camouflage. Specialized pads on her paws absorb the sound of her own weight. She is reading the chemical trails left in the dust. The predator observes a dense cluster of healthy adults. Attacking such a tightly packed group carries a massive biomechanical risk. A single defensive kick from a mature animal possesses enough blunt force to shatter a leopard's rib. In this harsh environment, a fractured bone is a death sentence. The feline brain constantly calculates the probability of injury. Therefore, she abandons this approach and moves along the perimeter. She targets another flank of the grazing herd. Suddenly, the wind shifts. Scent molecules are carried forward, instantly compromising the predator's stealth advantage. Furthermore, the animals in this sector are highly alert, offering a poor probability of a successful kill. The thermal energy burned in a sprint must yield a guaranteed caloric return. Every hunt follows a ruthless biological equation of energy return on investment. The savanna is crowded with hundreds of moving animals. To overcome the visual confusion of the herd, the predator's visual cortex must filter the chaotic data. She scans the mass and isolates a single anomaly on the periphery, a slight hesitation in its gait, a momentary lapse in vigilance. Instantly, the autonomic nervous system takes over. Her heart rate drops to stabilize the core. Sustained muscular tension generates massive internal heat. Yet, the respiratory rate must be suppressed. A single pant broadcasts an acoustic warning. The predator operates on the borderline of physiological overheating and absolute stealth. Pupils dilate to maximize visual input. Muscle fibers tense, storing kinetic energy. The biological lock-on is complete. The physical gap must be closed. The leopard's skeleton is engineered for absolute stealth. Free-floating collarbones act as biological shock absorbers. They cushion the body's weight, preventing any vibration from reaching the ground. Every step is calculated to avoid a single sound. The predator slowly enters the critical ambush radius. The predator faces a formidable biological defense. The zebra herd operates as a unified sensory network. Laterally positioned eyes provide a near 360-degree field of vision. Dozens of ears constantly scan the acoustic environment. To approach, the leopard must navigate blind spots that barely exist. A micro shift in the air currents carries a foreign scent molecule. Alternatively, they detect the sudden, unnatural silence of local insects. The zebras cannot see the threat, but their nervous systems register the environmental anomaly. Muscle fibers twitch in anticipation. The leopard instantly freezes. The psychological standoff begins. The leopard breaches the flight initiation distance. Instantly, the zebra's endocrine systems release massive surges of adrenaline. Heart rates violently spike. The biological tension reaches a critical threshold. The predator must strike right now, before the herd's self-preservation instincts completely override their hesitation. The herd's sensory network detects an environmental anomaly. The zebras instantly freeze, entering a state of hypervigilance. Fleeing blindly without a directional vector is statistically lethal. It risks running directly into an ambush. Their sympathetic nervous systems are fully primed, yet they hold their ground. The predator is forced into absolute stillness. A psychological standoff begins. The ambush is triggered. The leopard's fast-twitch muscle fibers ignite, converting stored energy into lethal acceleration. The savannah erupts into absolute chaos. As the zebras flee, their overlapping stripes generate a phenomenon known as motion dazzle. This high-contrast optical illusion directly disrupts the feline's visual cortex. It destroys depth perception and makes isolating a single target incredibly difficult. The predator is forced to calculate her attack trajectory through a moving maze of flashing patterns. The leopard's fast-twitch muscle fibers ignite, converting stored glycogen into explosive kinetic energy. She accelerates to top speed in mere seconds. The hunt instantly shifts from absolute stealth to pure biomechanical power. As the zebras flee, their overlapping stripes generate a phenomenon known as motion dazzle. This high-contrast optical illusion directly disrupts the feline's visual cortex. The physical gap is closed. The leopard deploys her retractable claws, acting as biological grappling hooks to anchor onto the target's mass. She aims directly for the trachea, attempting to secure a rapid asphyxiation hold. For a fleeting microsecond, the apex predator dominates the kinetic exchange. But the prey refuses to succumb. A high-frequency distress vocalization pierces the air. This acoustic signal triggers an aggressive, altruistic response from the herd. Instead of scattering, the zebras pivot. They weaponize their sheer numbers, initiating a coordinated mobbing behavior to encircle the attacker. The power dynamic violently reverses. Equines possess massively dense hindquarters, capable of delivering blunt force trauma exceeding 1,000 pounds per square inch. A single connected kick can easily shatter a feline skull. The leopard's lightweight skeletal frame, evolved strictly for aerodynamic speed, is profoundly outmatched in a physical brawl. The savannah dictates a brutal equilibrium. There are no ultimate victors, only temporary survivors in an ongoing evolutionary arms race. Today, the herd's defensive matrix neutralized the feline's kinetic strike. For the leopard, the physiological countdown to starvation accelerates. For the zebras, the rhythmic cycle of the plains continues. The Serengeti, a hyper-competitive biome where survival is dictated by a brutal trophic hierarchy. This constant biological warfare drives an escalating evolutionary arms race. Prey adaptations are continuously tested by the refined lethality of apex predators. When trophic levels collide, the ensuing clash is governed strictly by biomechanics and brute force. Here, the right to exist is won in fractions of a second. Under the vast equatorial sky, the savanna operates as a massive, solar-powered thermodynamic engine. Here, specialized grasses efficiently convert photons into dense caloric biomass, creating a foundation of apparent serenity. Roaming across this sun-drenched landscape, vast biological consortiums of primary consumers engage in peaceful, synchronized foraging. Their methodical movements facilitate essential nutrient cycling, maintaining the very ecosystem that sustains them. Yet, this tranquil equilibrium is ecologically fragile. As heads lower to maximize caloric intake, collective vigilance naturally degrades. They exist in a state of naive comfort, entirely unaware that the savanna's gentle thermal hazes and acoustic interference are precisely the variables required for a predator's perfect concealment. Hidden within the tall grass, a coalition of cheetahs engages in strict metabolic conservation. This resting phase is a physiological necessity, preserving crucial ATP reserves within their fast-twitch muscle fibers. In moments, this metabolic reserve will ignite, transforming static observation into a high-speed predatory pursuit. For the female antelope, endocrine cascades trigger intense uterine contractions, initiating the complex physiological mechanics of parturition. The antelope calf emerges, encapsulated within the amniotic sac. Lowering its center of gravity to utilize the microtopography, the cheetah assesses the target. It calculates the mother's flight response against the neonate's zero mobility, waiting for the optimal strike geometry. This membrane must rupture to facilitate the vital transition to pulmonary respiration. The stalk requires absolute biomechanical control. The cheetah executes precise digitigrade locomotion, absorbing impact through specialized digital pads to negate acoustic interference. Adrenaline surges, priming the cheetah's fast-twitch muscles for explosive output. The predatory calculus is complete. Kinetic release is imminent. The kinetic chain erupts, unleashing the absolute pinnacle of terrestrial speed. The cheetah's hyperflexible spine coils and fires like a biological spring, launching it over 7 meters in a single fluid bound. Burning fiercely on anaerobic metabolism, the cheetah is racing its own biology. The sensory network shatters. A massive surge of cortisol triggers an instant flight response. The peaceful grazing collective violently dissolves into a storm of erratic, high-speed trajectories. But the savannah's math is ruthlessly pragmatic. To secure its genetic future, the herd actively abandons the slough. The mother and her neonate are left exposed, the unavoidable ecological toll. Still encased within the amniotic membrane, the neonate is ecologically anchored, a static target devoid of any kinetic defense. The cheetah strikes, a flawless execution of predatory geometry, capitalizing on the ultimate biological vulnerability. But savanna ecology is profoundly non-linear. An olive baboon intercepts the sequence, driven not by interspecies altruism, but by complex territorial aggression. This dominant primate actively disrupts the apex predator's focus. An adult baboon intervenes. This is not interspecies empathy, but preemptive predator harassment. The primate views the cheetah as a threat to its own troop, using its 2-inch canines to actively drive the feline out of its foraging ground. Built exclusively for speed, the cheetah possesses a highly fragile anatomy. According to optimal foraging theory, fighting about guided by primal instinct, the newborn takes its first wobbly steps. It drinks the colostrum, a biological liquid gold packed with maternal antibodies, gifting its fragile immune system the ultimate armor for the life ahead. As the golden hour bathes the plains, the relentless heat of the savannah surrenders to dusk. Nature declares a quiet, fleeting truce. For today, the fragile pulse of life has triumphed. Under the fading light, they are safe. Nature's most breathtaking landscapes often hide the deadliest arenas. The Chalishman River Valley, a fortress of stone carved by ancient ice. Beneath these towering cliffs, life finds a rhythm. Summer brings a burst of energy to the valley, but the season is brief, urging every creature to make the most of it. In this vast landscape, success belongs to those who know how to adapt and thrive. A sounder of wild boars is busy at work. For them, the dry earth holds a hidden feast. Using their powerful snouts as living plows, they easily unearth nutrient-rich roots hidden below. In the natural world, serenity is fragile, and the atmosphere can shift in a single heartbeat. The water is a lifeline, but the river's edge is a deadly lottery. Submerged in the shallows, a master of camouflage waits in absolute silence. Further along the riverbank, the valley reveals a softer side. For an expecting lioness, the peaceful shallows provide a quiet sanctuary to prepare for new life. Bringing new life into this unforgiving wilderness is an exhausting physical trial. Every muscle strains as her body prepares to deliver the next generation of Altai's kings. A primal roar breaks the silence. The storm of labor passes, replaced by a profound maternal instinct. Taking their very first breaths, the newborns are immediately comforted by the coarse, reassuring strokes of their mother's tongue. As the weeks pass in the valley, The cubs have transformed from fragile newborns into robust apprentices. Resting in the cool shallows, the lioness gently grooms her young. For the tiger family, play is survival. Each pounce hones their deadly ambush skills. A herd of wildebeests grazes peacefully in the open valley. They rely on hundreds of eyes and ears for a collective defense. But the tall summer grass provides a false sense of security. They are entirely oblivious to the phantom watching from the shadows. Raising growing cubs demands a staggering amount of energy. To sustain her family, the tigress must now put her deadly skills to the ultimate test. She begins her calculated advance. Her striped coat acts as disruptive camouflage, breaking up her outline. Specialized soft pads on her paws absorb every footfall, allowing her to move like a ghost through the brittle brush. Beneath her skin, powerful muscles coil like tightly wound springs, storing immense kinetic energy for the final explosive sprint. The margin for error is absolute zero. Wildebeests possess highly evolved sensory networks. A single alarm snort from a sentinel triggers an instantaneous chain reaction. A sudden shift in the wind, a snapped twig, the fragile piece is instantly shattered. Panic spreads like a biological wildfire. Pure survival instinct takes over, launching hundreds of bodies into a chaotic yet synchronized stampede. Thousands of hooves pound the baked earth, kicking up a massive smokescreen of dust. This is a deliberate defense mechanism designed to confuse the predator's visual tracking. Beneath the lioness's skin, powerful muscles coil like tightly wound springs, storing immense kinetic energy for the final explosive sprint. The margin for error is absolute zero. In this blinding rush, speed is the wildebeest's only shield. The valley echoes with the thunder of survival as the wildebeests race to outrun death itself. The valley erupts into absolute chaos. A frantic stampede of wildebeests tears across the plains. Breaking cover, the lioness unleashes her full, terrifying speed. The herd's collective defense shatters into an every animal for itself scramble. Desperate hooves pound the earth, trying to outrun the inevitable. But one will not be fast enough. The gap closes. Lethal claws dig deep into thick hide. The lioness securely latches onto the massive prey. The struggle sends a shockwave across the Chulishman Valley. The surrounding wildlife stands paralyzed, silent witnesses to the harsh, unforgiving reality of the food chain. Time in the Altai Mountains seems to stand entirely still. Overhead, scavenging eagles circle in anticipation. A precise, suffocating bite to the windpipe delivers a swift end. The hunt is over. The energy of the fallen wildebeest will now sustain a new generation. As the lioness claims her hard-won kill, the brutal balance of the wilderness is restored. Driven by maternal instinct, the lioness swiftly carries the vital nourishment back to the safety of her den. For the growing cubs, this meal is an invaluable infusion of life. The fresh meat delivers crucial proteins required to build strong muscles and wire their predatory instincts. Here in the Chulishman Valley, the tragic fall of one creature sustains the legacy of another, honoring the ruthless yet beautiful cycle of the wild. As the sun finally dips below the rugged peaks of the Altai, the chaotic dust of the hunt has settled, replaced by a profound, heavy silence. The valley breathes once more. But in this unforgiving wilderness, every sunset is just a brief pause in the wild's eternal, beautiful cycle of life and death. Dawn breaks over the African savannah, a sprawling theater of survival. Here, the brutal dry season dictates the rhythm of life. The heat is unforgiving, and the earth is baked to bone. They move as one entity, instinctively drawn to the delicate dew hidden within the grass. The absolute rulers of this realm are utilizing the morning chill to draw heat away from their massive, muscular frames. Every breath of the lion pride is deep and steady. By dropping their heart rate and slowing their metabolism, they minimize water loss under the impending African sun. The lions simply rest, actively repairing fast-twitch muscle fibers to recharge for the explosive hunt ahead. Known for a solitary and volatile nature, the rhinoceros mother is a formidable force. But the rhinoceros calf is a fragile prize in a land of opportunists. The survival of the rhinoceros mother relies on more than just bulk and fearsome horns. With notoriously poor eyesight, the world of the rhinoceros mother is constantly mapped by an incredibly acute sense of hearing and smell. A faint, dangerous scent has just drifted across the savannah. Unaware of the lethal predator closing in, the rhinoceros mother and the rhinoceros calf continue to graze peacefully. This false security is the perfect biological weapon for an ambush. By suddenly standing tall, the lioness deploys a kinetic visual signal, a silent, postural command synchronizing the lion pride for a coordinated tactical strike. The lioness and the lion pride advance. Specialized paw pads absorb acoustic frequencies, turning each step into a masterclass of predatory biomechanics. The lion pride is actively shrinking the kill zone, in absolute, deadly silence. The massive ears of the rhinoceros mother swivel like radar dishes. The acoustic warning finally registers the thunder of approaching paws. The lioness utilizes a hyper-flexible spine as a biological spring, maximizing stride length to rapidly close the gap. Fueled by anaerobic respiration, the lion pride accelerates to top speed, initiating a direct, high-velocity pursuit toward the rhinoceros mother and the rhinoceros calf. The acute senses of the rhinoceros mother sharpen drastically. The smell of dust, sweat, and incoming death hits the olfactory receptors of the rhinoceros mother in high definition. Following a commanding roar, the lion pride converges on the prey, a highly coordinated biological strike force, ready to execute a fatal takedown on the sun-baked plains. The lion pride attempts a mechanical takedown. Retractable claws anchor into the thick dermal armor of the rhinoceros mother. The primary predatory objective is to sever the spinal cord or collapse the trachea, but the immense cellular density of the rhinoceros mother actively resists structural penetration. The rhinoceros mother weaponizes a 2-ton biological mass. Generating massive kinetic force, the rhinoceros mother deploys a solid keratin horn as a lethal defensive ram. Simultaneously, the rhinoceros mother actively positions her frame to form an impenetrable biological shield, effectively isolating the rhinoceros calf from the strike zone of the lion pride. Predatory risk assessment shifts abruptly. A single skeletal fracture inflicted by the rhinoceros mother equates to inevitable starvation for the lion pride. The caloric cost now exceeds the biological reward. Executing a tactical withdrawal, the lion pride aborts the assault protocol. The African savanna reclaims its equilibrium. Acute adrenaline levels within the bloodstream of the rhinoceros mother and the rhinoceros calf begin to degrade. As the solar radiation fades into dusk, dropping ambient temperatures allow the rhinoceros mother to efficiently dissipate combat-generated body heat. Biological survival is secured. As the Earth shifts its axis, the Serengeti sheds the heavy cloak of night. Dawn here is not merely a sunrise. It is a biological trigger. The sudden spike in thermal radiation resets the survival clock of millions. For the grazers, the first light offers a fleeting illusion of safety. But in this 3-million-year-old theater, visibility is a double-edged sword. Driven by an ancient biological imperative, an expectant female severs her ties with the safety of the mass. The first contractions have begun. Every ancient instinct now focuses on the imminent birth, preparing her body for the most vulnerable moment on the savannah. Yet, giving birth alone is the savannah's ultimate gamble. The rush of amniotic fluid releases a potent chemical beacon, drifting miles downwind. The delivery is complete, but the physical transition is still underway. The newborn foal remains partially encased in the amniotic sac. This translucent membrane, which provided vital protection inside the womb, must now be shed. The mother acts instinctively to assist her offspring. She focuses directly on the tissue surrounding the foal's head. By licking and gently nipping at the membrane, she uncovers the face, ensuring the foal can comfortably take its first full breaths of air. The foal's instinctive drive to stand serves a vital biomechanical function here. As it extends its long legs and pushes upward, gravity and the weight of the fluid-soaked tissue work together with the foal's movement. This combined mechanical tension stretches and breaks the membrane, systematically peeling it completely away from the coat and freeing the hind legs for mobility. The first touch is gentle, yet driven by absolute urgency. By meticulously cleaning her foal, the mother isn't just showing affection, she is actively erasing the scent of birth, a vital countermeasure against predators that map this landscape by smell. Within minutes of taking its first breath, the foal faces its greatest test. It must conquer gravity. Its legs are disproportionately long, nearly adult-sized. This is not an accident of nature. It's an evolutionary masterpiece, engineered for immediate flight. As they nuzzle, an invisible, lifelong bond is forged. She deliberately stands between her foal and the rest of the world. In these quiet seconds, the newborn's brain takes a mental photograph, memorizing the unique barcode of its mother's stripes. The foal's initial steps are unsteady, but it adapts with remarkable speed. Zebras are a precocial species, born with a highly developed nervous system. Continuous walking forces blood into the foal's long legs, rapidly reinforcing the muscle coordination required to run. The mother dictates the pace, continuously assessing her foal's stamina. She is deliberately navigating her offspring out of the dense brush, taking the first calculated steps toward reuniting with the protective numbers of the herd. The shift in the wind carries the scent of the newborn foal across the savannah. A pride of lionesses intercepts this chemical signal. Their olfactory system is highly specialized, allowing them to determine the exact direction and approximate distance of their potential prey without visual confirmation. To close the distance undetected, the lionesses rely on physical adaptation. Their tawny coats blend seamlessly with the dry grass. They move in a coordinated formation, spreading out to flank the mother and her single foal. Soft, thick pads on the bottom of their paws absorb the impact of their weight, enabling them to navigate the dry terrain in near silence. The pride's strategy is dictated by their biology. Lions possess limited stamina for long pursuits, requiring them to minimize the distance before initiating a sprint. They collectively target the young foal, analyzing its unsteady movements and lack of top speed, identifying it as the highest probability target. The mother zebra continues to monitor her surroundings, but the lead lioness initiates the strike. Utilizing the massive fast-twitch muscle fibers in her hindquarters, she accelerates from a standstill to 60 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. The zebra's sensitive ears catch the sound instantly. Panic ripples through the herd like a shockwave, and they immediately scatter in terror. But this frontal assault is a calculated trap. By triggering the stampede, the lioness is purposely herding the panicked zebras straight toward the rest of the pride waiting in ambush. In this blinding dust and chaos, the young foal has only one lifeline. It must perfectly copy its mother's every move, or be left behind. At top speed, the fleeing herd deploys its greatest natural defense, a visual illusion. As dozens of zebras sprint and weave together, their black and white stripes merge into a dizzying blur. This phenomenon, known as motion dazzle, makes it incredibly difficult for a chasing lion to judge speed, distance, or single out one individual. The choking dust of the dry savannah only deepens the predator's confusion. The pursuit forces the herd to the edge of a fast-flowing river. They are trapped between the approaching lions and the turbulent water. Driven by the immediate threat on land, the zebras make a calculated behavioral choice. Plunging into the treacherous current presents a statistically higher chance of survival. Entering the water instantly neutralizes their speed advantage. The dense current rapidly drains their stamina. Their hooves, evolved for traction on hard savanna soil, struggle to find stability on the slippery riverbed. The mass movement creates a bottleneck, pushing the animals deeper into the channel. This massive aquatic disturbance alerts a completely different apex predator. Nile crocodiles utilize specialized sensory receptors along their jaws to detect low-frequency vibrations in the water. They can pinpoint the exact location of the struggling zebras, moving in to intercept. Driven by sheer panic, they do not pause to defend themselves. They thrash violently, using their powerful muscles simply to break the water's resistance, their visual focus locked entirely on reaching the opposite bank. This reckless crossing is a brutal evolutionary calculation. By moving as a dense, chaotic mass at maximum physical exertion, they overwhelm the predator's ability to target effectively. Individual safety is temporarily sacrificed for the forward momentum of the group. Through pure physical endurance, the vast majority scramble up the bank, successfully escaping the aquatic threat. Safe on the opposite bank, the herd's collective heart rate begins to decelerate. The massive spike of adrenaline and cortisol required for the high-speed escape slowly dissipates from their bloodstreams. The river has acted as a ruthless evolutionary filter. Those remaining on this bank have successfully passed a rigorous test of physical endurance and spatial awareness. In the savanna ecosystem, peace is merely a temporary biological reset. Their sensory radars remain active, processing the wind for the next inevitable threat. Here, life does not simply exist, it marches, and the wildebeest are the undeniable pulse of these plains. Gathered by the millions, they are driven by an ancient, inescapable biological clock. Right now, it dictates only one thing: refuel. In this shimmering heat, the herd appears entirely at peace. Their synchronized grazing engineers the savanna. By stripping the coarse stalks, they return vital nutrients to the exhausted earth. But on the savanna, peace is merely an illusion, a brief, fragile pause before the hunters awaken. Out here, a single misstep is a fatal liability. There is no compassion in the wild. In the brutal calculus of survival, the vulnerable simply become an involuntary shield for the strong. The savanna is not at peace. It is merely holding its breath. In the oppressive midday heat, the apex predators of the savanna appear remarkably subdued. A pride can sleep up to 20 hours a day. It is not lethargy, but a highly evolved strategy of energy conservation. But hunger is a persistent alarm clock, and the matriarchs are always the first to answer its call. Her amber eyes possess 6 times the light sensitivity of a human. She is not just observing, she is calculating distance and isolating the vulnerable. Every subtle shift in the wind is analyzed to mask her scent, and every tuft of dry grass is mapped as potential cover. The rest of the world fades away, leaving only the precise geometry of the impending ambush. A few hundred yards away, the wildebeest remain anchored in a false sense of security. The wind sweeps across the plains, carrying their scent directly to the predators, masking the danger downwind. The lion's muscles stretch, preparing for anaerobic bursts of speed. Every member of the pride instinctively understands their role in the complex geometry of the ambush. The syndicate is mobilized. The savanna is a theater of profound indifference. The sun beats down on the dry earth, oblivious to the drama about to unfold. In this vast arena, survival is dictated by mere inches and fractions of a second. Yet, beneath this tranquil facade, nature remains ruthlessly impartial. It takes no sides. It merely provides the stage for the drama ahead. The script has already been written by millions of years of evolution. All that is left is the execution. And on this stage, the opening act is about to be written in dust and instinct. And the lead predator is already in position. The lead lioness utilizes the sun-bleached grass as a perfect cloak of invisibility. Walking on her toes, she minimizes contact with the dry foliage. Her shoulder blades absorb the impact, ensuring complete silence. She becomes a ghost in the grass. Head lowered to the earth, the wildebeest's field of vision is drastically reduced, a fatal blind spot. The lioness must close the gap to within 30 yards. She presses her belly flat against the scorching earth, exploiting every minor depression in the terrain to stay completely out of sight. Suddenly, a shift in behavior. The chewing stops. The ears flick forward. Has a shifting breeze betrayed the hunters? Or is it an instinctual premonition carved by millions of years of evolution? The tension becomes palpable. The silence is deafening. The lioness knows her cover is blown. Stealth must now be traded for explosive power. Her massive hind legs engage, propelling her forward with terrifying acceleration. The ambush is over. In a fraction of a second, the lioness's heart rate doubles, flooding her muscles with oxygen for the ultimate sprint. Her entire being is locked onto the target. From here on out, the slightest hesitation will turn a perfect ambush into total failure. The ancient dance of predator and prey has officially begun. The savannah shatters. Panic seizes the lone wildebeest, triggering a desperate flight for survival. The lioness erupts from the sun-scorched grass. At full sprint, she covers 50 feet a second. Her spine flexes like a coiled spring, maximizing each explosive stride. This is a deadly high-stakes race against her own rapidly rising body temperature. A collective wave of panic ripples through the herd, turning thousands of individuals into a single, fleeing organism. Panic seizes the lone wildebeest, triggering a desperate flight for survival. For the wildebeest, survival is brutally simple. You don't have to be the fastest in the herd, you just can't be the slowest. The swirling dust and a maze of galloping hooves are a defensive mechanism, designed to disorient the predator's focus. The gap closes. The impact is catastrophic. The lioness uses her formidable weight, nearly 300 pounds of pure muscle, and momentum to unbalance the fleeing wildebeest, grounding the heavy herbivore with calculated precision. The wildebeest's struggle inevitably subsides. The lioness clamps her powerful jaws over the prey's windpipe, applying hundreds of pounds of pressure to induce a swift, oxygen-deprived end to the ancient chase. This exhausting hunt is a triumph, securing a massive influx of calories, enough vital protein to sustain the lionesses for several days. The scent of a fresh wildebeest kill travels fast, acting as a beacon for opportunistic scavengers like hyenas and vultures. For now, however, the lion pride has earned its feast, metabolizing this vital energy to fuel the next generation of apex predators. The lion pride's feast begins. Nothing goes to waste on the savannah. To access the nutrient-rich meat, the lionesses must first breach the wildebeest's tough hide. They utilize specialized carnassial teeth at the back of their jaws, acting like biological shears to slice through thick skin and muscle with devastating efficiency. The hunters instinctively target the nutrient-dense internal organs first, the liver, heart, and kidneys, extracting maximum vitamins and trace minerals essential for their survival in this harsh environment. An adult lioness can consume up to a quarter of her own body weight in a single sitting. Her highly acidic stomach is perfectly adapted to rapidly digest massive quantities of raw protein, neutralizing potential pathogens found in the wild meat. As the pride gorges themselves, they are inadvertently preparing the carcass for the ecosystem's secondary consumers. Vultures and hyenas circle the perimeter, waiting for their turn at the ecological table. The wildebeest's sacrifice is converted into vital energy, ensuring the reign of these apex predators continues over this golden realm for another day. Mere hundreds of yards from the kill site, a jarring tranquility reclaims the savannah. The surviving wildebeest herd transitions instantly from primal panic to serene indifference. This rapid emotional reset is not callousness, but a vital evolutionary adaptation. Herbivores cannot afford to expend precious calories on lingering stress. In this wild kingdom, death is merely a brief interruption to the relentless rhythm of life. Stretching along the eastern coast of Africa is Tanzania, a land dominated by the vast, sun-baked plains of the savannah. Beneath the relentless heat, life carries on in a quiet rhythm, creating a fragile illusion of absolute peace. The antelopes are already on the move, gliding effortlessly across the vast plains. Their journey is a picture of quiet grace. With slender frames shaped by nature, every leap is light and rhythmic, moving in perfect harmony with the pulse of the earth. Not far away, a vast procession moves gently across the plains. The wildebeest. The rumble of their hooves sounds like the heartbeat of the earth, an eternal, peaceful cycle. Flowing with relentless grace, these wild waters carve a deep rift across the earth, a line of destiny they cannot refuse. For beneath its mesmerizing flow, a deadly test quietly waits. Right in the river, the apex predator is already in position, a giant crocodile. It doesn't chase, it calculates. Hidden beneath the murky surface, it waits for one fatal mistake. It doesn't chase, it calculates. Hidden beneath the murky surface, it waits for one fatal mistake. Thousands of wildebeest and antelopes crowd the steep, muddy banks, driven by an ancient urge to migrate, yet paralyzed by the raw, violent power of the surging currents. Panic ripples through the ranks. But the raging water is only a distraction. Below the surface, an ancient syndicate has formed, a congregation of giant crocodiles. Cold-blooded and perfectly adapted, they conserve every ounce of energy. Camouflaged against the riverbed, they form a living minefield. The ultimate ambush is set. Tension reaches a breaking point. It only takes one pioneer to shatter the hesitation. Instantly, blind herd mentality takes over. Hundreds launch themselves into the treacherous currents, completely unaware that they are jumping straight into the jaws of death. It is a chaotic frenzy of flailing hooves and panicked cries. Biologically, their hollow hair provides natural buoyancy, a vital adaptation for river crossings. But buoyancy offers no defense against what waits below. The churning rapids mask the silent, deadly approach of the apex predators. For the herd, the only focus is the opposite bank, but every second fighting the current drains their stamina. Blinded by the splashing white water and deafened by the roar of the herd, their keen senses are rendered utterly useless. They are swimming blind, offering the perfect cover for a prehistoric strike. They fight desperately to survive, but in this unforgiving river, their sheer will to live is leading them straight into the jaws of death. And the giant crocodiles do not rush. They are masters of calculating energy. There is no turning back. Propelled by the sheer weight of the endless herd behind them, thousands pour into the river like a living waterfall of flesh and bone. The water becomes instantly choked with bodies in panic. It is a spectacle of mass desperation, and for the waiting prehistoric giants, this is no longer a hunt. It is a feast delivered right to their domain. The giant crocodiles let the river do the heavy lifting. The trap has been sprung. In this brutal theater of nature, not everyone will make it to the other side. Panic erupts. The illusion of safety shatters as the river reveals its true nature. Beneath the surface, the strike is clinical and devastating. Giant crocodiles target the slender legs of their prey. A calculated tactic to instantly disable mobility, dragging them into the suffocating depths. The river turns into a boiling cauldron of predator and prey. With jaws exerting tons of pressure, the crocodiles lock on. The antelopes fight with every ounce of their being, but in this aquatic arena, raw, evolutionary power favors the reptiles. While some fall, the vast majority push forward. With one last surge, they scramble up the banks, escaping the river of death. The onslaught is relentless. The giant crocodiles execute the notorious death roll, a brutal display of biomechanical perfection. The will to live can defy the odds. In the savage theater of the savannah, surviving today is the ultimate victory. The crossing is over for these fortunate few. They have run the gauntlet and cheated death with the heavy physical toll of survival. Safety is a temporary luxury. Here, on solid ground, the herd enters a crucial phase of recovery. Families reunite. Mothers gently nuzzle their calves, verifying their survival through scent and touch. There is no time to look back, no time to mourn the fallen. In the relentless rhythm of the savannah, grief is an anchor the hunted cannot afford to carry. There is a profound resilience in this stillness. For these animals, healing is not a medical process, but a silent act of endurance. They rest not to linger, but to prepare for the miles still ahead. Soon, the chaotic energy is replaced by the peaceful, rhythmic sound of grazing. Eating is more than sustenance. It is a grounding mechanism. Each bite of grass helps rebuild depleted energy reserves and restores the tranquil rhythm of the herd. There is a profound resilience in this stillness. For these animals, healing is not a medical process, but a silent act of endurance. They rest not to linger, but to prepare for the miles still ahead. Instinct commands them to keep moving. To fall behind the herd is to invite the deadly attention of land predators. Their sheer resilience is the true masterpiece of evolution. As the golden hour descends, the African sun casts a warm, forgiving light over this harsh landscape. As the golden hour descends, the African sun casts a warm, forgiving light over this harsh landscape. Today, the river exacted its toll, nourishing the apex reptiles lurking below, but the herd endures. The Great Migration continues, an eternal cycle of sacrifice and survival, marching ever forward into the fading light.